In our first story, the Ghana Police Service says it is following multiple significant leads in connection with the assassination of Ahmed Hussein Swale that occurred last Wednesday. Mr. Hussein Swale, a member of private investigative firm Tecate PI, who was involved in uncovering corruption in Ghana football, together with Anas Aremiyaw Anas, was shot by assailants at Medina and has since been buried. The police last week questioned Asin Central Member of Parliament Kennedy Japong over a pronouncement he made about Mr. Hussein Swale, which ultimately many say exposed him to harm. A statement released by the Ghana Police Service on Monday said former president of the Ghana Football Association, Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, has also been interrogated by a team of detectives in connection with the killing. Well, meanwhile, the minority in Parliament is calling for the arrest and prosecution of the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Japong, for pronouncements they believe make him the prime suspect in the assassination of Ahmed Hussein Swale. Addressing a news conference in Parliament, the ranking member on the Defence and Interior Committee and Bolsa North Member of Parliament, James Agaga, accused the law enforcement agencies of looking on as the Member of Parliament flew out of the country instead of arresting him.
We state that Mr. Japong appears to bear some criminal responsibility for the death of Ahmed. And he also bears criminal responsibility for instigating the public to beat up Ahmed and cause harm to Anas for monetary reward. Mr. Japong should have promptly been arrested and prosecuted for the public instigation of violence on the two men. This was never done. Shockingly, Mr. Japong was allowed to fly out of the country without being apprehended on that very day on an Emirates flight headed to Dubai and possible onward journey. The conduct of Mr. Japong could not have escaped the notice of law enforcement agencies and the government of President Akufo-Addo. Until date, he has not been invited by the police for questioning. We find this situation deeply worrying and uncharacteristic of a democratic and civilized country. Mr. Japong's conduct and the obvious lack of action by the law enforcement agencies leads to only one conclusion, that Mr. Japong is above the laws of Ghana and he enjoys impunity free from prosecution.
And beyond an arrest and prosecution of the legislature, the members of Parliament who are in the minority side say they would also drag Mr. Japong to the Privileges Committee. Minority Chief Whip Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak explains how far he is willing to go to achieve this result.
We are members of Parliament governed by rules. If I tell you that now, if this thing fails, then I'll take the law into my own hands. I mean, I can equally be hauled before the Privileges Committee for even just making that statement. So let me first exhaust the avenues in the House. When the avenues are exhausted, without saying that, I mean, I can assure you we will never break the law, but we'll try to look at other ways of getting our colleague punished. I know people may say, well, if not in Parliament, where else can he be punished? But I can tell you, we have come up with something that we know. If others help, he could be punished through those other means without necessarily Parliament punishing him. But it is our hope that Parliament will take advantage of this time and get our call. Because you see, it is not about the murder case. To move to the next, okay, it is not about the murder. I mean, I can never sit here and say that Honorable, my colleague Kennedy Japong has hand in this. I am judging him by his utterances. And those utterances itself offend the rules of this House and of the rules of this country. It is on that basis. So we are not interfering in any way with what the police will be doing. We are saying that we are members of Parliament. We are supposed to hold ourselves in very, 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 very high standard procedures in everything that we do. You cannot be a member of Parliament and want to be put on the same pedestal with your constituent.
Now, while we're on the issue of crime, parents of some teenage girls who were kidnapped in Tecate in the western region are appealing to government to help them find their children. Now, they say that the police is not doing enough to help find their daughters, and they want government's intervention to help locate them. Nigerian-born Samuel Wilson Udoturg was arrested for allegedly masterminding the kidnapping of the girls in Tecate and its environs. Now, he was recaptured after he first broke jail in December. Correspondent Inatalia Kwanza sent in this report.
A mother in pain, weeping over the disappearance of her daughter more than a month after she was kidnapped. 56-year-old Comfortahin says her 18-year-old daughter Ruth Quason is yet to be found after she was kidnapped at BU Junction in Tecate on 4th December last year. It will be recalled that earlier this month, parents and relatives of 7 girls who went missing under strange circumstances embarked on a demonstration, following which a Nigerian, Samuel Udoturg Wilson, was arrested for allegedly masterminding the kidnapping. The distressed parents are appealing to government to find their missing children. Here is Comfortahin.
But when you're 18 years, last year you were Fiji. No certain if you know page maybe
My daughter is 18 years old. She completed Fiji Senior High School just last year. She was worried about staying home without a job. She told me a friend was helping her get one. On 4th December, she left home to meet that friend. 2 hours after she left home, she called my line and demanded 5,000 cedis. I got worried and alarmed. I asked her where she was, but she couldn't give me any information about her location. Her line went off afterward. He demanded 10,000 cedis. We bargained and pleaded with him. He later agreed to take 8,000 cedis.
Father of 15-year-old Priscilla Mantibia Kranche, a first-year student at Secondary College, who was also kidnapped on 21st December 2018, says he strongly believes his daughter is dead since her dress and scarf were found during the rearrest of the suspected kidnapper.
On their search, they called one of my sons, and when my son went there, they showed him the dress. And he confirmed that it was my daughter's dress.
Okay.
So when they called me, in fact, I couldn't believe still my daughter is alive. Because how can the dress be found and then the person is not there?
The police in the Western region have been tight-lipped on the matter, only urging the parents to be calm as they make efforts to find the girls. But an uncle of one of the victims, Asari Aidan Texan, is accusing the police of not doing enough to find the girls.
My niece was kidnapped. Now the person was arrested. There about 2 days or 3 days, we heard the person has escaped from the prison or the cell, which is uncalled for. Now we managed doing a demonstration against the police. Just a night that we managed to do the demonstration, they called that they found the guy again. So this thing I don't understand. It is a hard time that the police and the CIDs have to wake up. We cannot sit on this issue. It's very, very serious. It's a month and 2 weeks. And what do they want again? The culprit is at hand. So what do we do now? You have to torture the person to talk. He's not talking. And we all know he have admitted he have the guys or the girls with them. So where are they? I heard over that they've jailed him with the escaping. That's not escaping matter. We want the kid. We want the children. It is not the prison we want.
And we still remain in the Western region, and the Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service, DSP Olivia Irabna Diku, has confirmed to JoyNews that the nurse who bit the lower lip of a rival had a pending assault complaint against her before she bit the lips of Beatrice Japong, the hairdresser. The pending assault case was between the suspect and another woman described by the police as Clara. DSP Olivia Diku speaks for the police in the Western region.
We are really working on it. We've spoken to a few people. We've gotten some information that we are looking at. But we really need credible information, because the suspect is not speaking. All the information he's given, we've even sent him to Prosecution. He mentioned a place to Prosecution. We went with him. It also proved to be futile. But notwithstanding, we are still gathering any information that we get in regards to that. We are just assuring the family that we are not leaving any stone unturned. We need the necessary information. Any credible information is needed for us to make progress. So as I even speak to you today, some of our detectives have heard some lead and they are still searching on it. So we are hoping that we will be able to locate where these ladies are.
And in our final story today, the Supreme Court has put on hold its ruling on ownership of property worth about 23 million Ghana cedis, which the state contends belongs to businessman Alfred Agbeshi-Woyome. Now, the state wants to use the property to defray 52 million Ghana cedis the businessman is to refund after he was wrongfully paid this amount in 2009. Now, receivers of defunct UT Bank, however, say they own the properties. Lawyers for Mr. Woyome on Tuesday managed to convince the Supreme Court to suspend its ruling. Here's a little bit more on that in this report.
The Attorney General had earmarked 3 properties for sale, but receivers of defunct UT Bank rushed to court claiming ownership of the residential facilities at Razako Valley Estates and Accra Newtown. Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dami had alleged the receivers were colluding with the businessman to prevent the state from satisfying the debt. He insisted 9 months after the bank had allegedly bought the property, the businessman used same as collateral to secure a loan in excess of 9 million cedis. Lawyers for Mr. Woyome objected to the Supreme Court determining UT's claim of ownership. They insisted the case ought to be heard at the High Court, but Justice Benin disagreed and fixed ruling for January 21. Lawyers for Mr. Woyome on Monday asked the court to suspend its ruling due to an application for review that had been filed. This, they explained, will be moved on February 19, 2018. Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dami opposed the application. He explained that nothing barred the court from going ahead to deliver its ruling. Justice Benin, however, granted the request, saying it was in line with best practice of the court to halt proceedings in such instances to avoid conflicting judgments on the same matter. This means the ruling remains suspended until the review of the case is determined.
And that's where we draw the line on today's bulletin.
Well, definitely. And we'll have to bring you more news as we review the newspapers. Mama View Sabwaje as well as Achina Brintio were all on the bill for that great chat.
That's right. Consolidated 4 once again, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, indeed. That all comes after these messages.